just sounds. Right. We can make any kind of noise, we can make any kind of sound, but that sound or that noise, if it has some meaning, then it can become speech sounds. যদি ওই স্পিচের কোনো মানে হয় তাহলে সেটা স্পিচ সাউন্ড হয়। বাদবাকি যে কোনো ধরনের সাউন্ড আমরা যে কোনো ধরনের জিনিস দিয়ে বানাতে পারি, রাইট? বাট স্পিচ সাউন্ডস আর ইউনিক টু দ্য হিউম্যান বিংস। Human beings are the only creatures that can create speech sounds. অন্য কোনো অ্যানিমাল স্পিচ বলতে পারে, অনেক সাউন্ড বার করতে পারে, আর দে আর মিনিংফুল। যেটা তুমি বলে যে মিনিংলেস হয়, সবসময় মিনিংলেস হয় না। যেমন ধরো দরজায় কেউ ঠক ঠক করলো, it means something that somebody is at the door and somebody is knocking the door and somebody wants to come in. Meaning আছে কিছু একটা, বাট সেটা আমরা দেখবো প্র্যাগম্যাটিক্সের যে ওটার কি মিনিং আছে বা কোন কি ধরনের মিনিং হয় অ্যাকর্ডিং টু কনটেক্সট। বাট ফোনোলজি কি? ফোনোলজি ইজ আ branch of study that studies speech sounds, human speech sounds of a particular language. Just to tell you, just to inform you, I will not spend too much time on this. There are 44 sounds in English language. How many alphabets are there in English language? How 26. How many alphabets? Shubham, how many alphabets in English? Only one alphabet, 26 letters. Alphabet বলতে গেলে একটা ভাষা সাধারণত একটাই alphabet. Other than Hindi has two alphabets. Can you tell me which two alphabets Hindi has? Hindi can be written in two forms. So Sanskrit is a language, it's not a script. Devanagari and Brahmi. There are two ways in which Hindi can be written: Devanagari and Brahmi. Brahmi is not used anymore. Devanagari is used. But in English, there is just one alphabet, that is Roman alphabet. The name of the alphabet is Roman alphabet, and it has 26 letters. Okay? But sounds, when it comes to sounds, there are 44 sounds. How come there are 44 sounds? 26 letters, but they can combine themselves to create more and more sounds. Okay, say for example, this letter, this is actually a sound. When you put any symbol within slanting brackets, it refers to a kind of a sound. So this is a sound. Actually, this is the sound. This is how it looks. This is A. Okay, and we have a letter A in English. So from this letter A, we can create a word like, can you pronounce this word? Tumi koro Mopriya. What is this word? AXE. I got the Japanese word. So A can be pronounced as axe. Okay, A can be pronounced as aeroplane, like A, like simple A, aeroplane, A for aeroplane, or apple. A can also be pronounced as August. So there are many pronunciations of or A. It looks like this, but it has many pronunciations. This is what phonology studies. And when you are trying to teach English language, you have to know about phonology. Within these 44 sounds, 20 are vowels, 24 are consonants. But in English, we knew that there are only 5 vowels and 24 consonants, 21 consonants. But when we are talking about sounds, there are 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonantal sounds. We will not go further into this because our syllabus will not permit that. Next we will talk about morphology. Phonology is the study of the speech sounds that are produced in a particular language. Morphology is the study of words, shabd, written words. How they are pronounced, yes, but words. So, sound, then words. For example, how does a baby acquire a language? Okay, what is the difference between acquiring a language and learning a language? Learning language is learning language. What is the difference between acquiring a language and learning a language? Which is the language that you hear, that you have been hearing since you were a baby? Hindi. And when did you start learning English? After admission in a school, right? So when you learn something in an institution, formally, it's learning. When you are born in a language, Hindi in your case, Hindi in your case, also Bangla in your case, Bangla in my case, then that is acquiring. Acquiring is learning without any formality. Just pick up words. আমরা যখন ছোট ছিলাম আমরা যা শুনতাম সেটাকে রিপিট করতাম। তাই জন্য গালাগালটা আমাদের খুব তাড়াতাড়ি মুখস্থ হয়ে যেত। কারণ রাস্তাঘাটে বা নিয়ে আমরা গালাগাল শুনলাম, শুনে নিয়ে এমন একটা সিচুয়েশনে গালাগালটা দিতাম যে সবাই এম্বারেস হয়ে যেত। এবার লোকে যেত তোমরা শিখে এটা না, ওই কাকা ওই মামা ওই এই বলছে। That's how, because we don't know what it means. We are just picking it up. So acquiring is learning in an informal situation, and learning is learning in a formal setup in an institution. So তোমাকে বাড়িতে পড়াতে আসো বা তুমি স্কুলে গেলে কলেজে গেলে whatever, that is learning, and acquiring is not going to a formal institution to learn a language. Okay, anyway, so morphology comes next. Words. First, as babies, what do? Kaka, this kind of, we make these kind of sounds, right? And after some time, when we are hearing the sound for a long time, the first sounds, then we form words like kaka, korte ekta shomoy mama, dada, eshob amra bolte shuru kori. Now, what happens when the baby says mama? So the mother is very happy because the baby has used the first word. Like my daughter, I thought it was her first word. Her first word was na, and she meant it. Like emnito one girly code, but when one day when her mother was like trying to put her to bed, and she was playing with her grandmother, and the mother went and was trying to pick her up, and she said that now, and she said she meant that I am not going she meant, that was her first word, that I will not do something that you are asking me. And then there were many other words that she learned. I taught her how to say dhaka and all that. So she was a very, she grew up with very bad words, which I used to teach her. Now, words, the study of words is morphology. Sounds শুধু বলছি, কিন্তু ওয়ার্ডস এবার আমরা লিখতেও শুরু করি। তারপরে বাচ্চারা কি করে, দেওয়ালে লিখতে শুরু করে, সব দেওয়ালে ওদের ক্রেয়ন দিয়ে, পেন্সিল দিয়ে, পেন দিয়ে সব লেখা শুরু করে, রাইট? সো the way in which the words are formed in a language is called morphology. The study of the formation of words in a language is called morphology. For example, सोचो मैं मोटा हूँ, I am fat, okay? But in Hindi, can you what was your name again? I forgot your name. Songita. Songita is anamota. Anamota. We say patli or patla. But there are many words in English which can be made negatives by adding successful, unsuccessful. Right? So, in the way in which the English words are created is very different from the way in which Hindi or Bangla words are created. And this is what morphology studies. Okay? Next is syntax. Sorry. Syntax. So, syntax is now sentences. Grammar. Syntax means grammar. মানে বাচ্চাটা প্রথমে পাপা বাবা বলতো, তারপরে সাউন্ডস ক্রিয়েট করতে শিখলো, ওয়ার্ডস ক্রিয়েট করতে শিখলো। নেক্সট, what does the kid wants to do? To create sentences. Instead of just saying na, my daughter, when she was growing up a bit more, she said ami jabo na, ami khabo na, ami ghumobo na, snan korbo na. So this order of words is syntax. We learn grammar or we acquire grammar. When we were talking about like sentences, even Hindi or Bangla sentences, small sentences we had learned from our parents or from our family members or from our vocabulary. For example, many babies, many kids take up this sentence very early. Amun maar debo na. See, babies would, if you poke the baby, if you irritate the baby, then the baby says this, amun maar debo na. But he or she hardly understands what it means. But when he or she see that it creates a kind of a funny effect and everybody starts laughing, the baby feels important. I made somebody laugh and now I am the center of attraction. And that baby keeps on repeating the same sentence again and again. That baby is acquiring the sentence, not learning it. But when you came to the school, when you were being taught English, the order of the words changed. Ami bhat khabo was not applicable anymore. I eat rice, but I will eat rice. So subject, verb, object is English. Subject, object, verb is Bangla or Hindi. These rules are being taught by the concept of syntax. Syntax means simply grammar. The rules which govern a language is called syntax. And every language has a grammar. Right? Rules by which we learn the language. Next comes semantics. Meaning. This is the study of meaning. আমি একটা সেন্টেন্স যদি এরকম করে লিখি, Read the sentence. That is S by Z. Okay? Come on, loudly. পড়ো পালা। আরে পড়তে তো পারছো না, পড়তেও পারছো না, পড়ো। S by Z. This is English, right? You recognize all the letters, right? You recognize all the letters. You can pronounce it also. You said S by Z, groil, mul, et, pula, or pula, whatever. So you know the letters. You also know the words. I mean, how words are formed. Because you can make sure that you are stopping S by Z, groil, mul, et, pula. You are not reading it S by Z, groil, pula. You are not trying to read it in a whole book. That means you recognize that these are words. Morphology. Syntax. Can you tell me, this is English, can you tell me which is the subject of the sentence? Subject. Which is the subject of the sentence? This is a sentence. Sentence has a subject and predicate. Just make a guess. Huh? Groiled is the subject, okay? What about others? Imagine a normal sentence in English and then say which could be the subject. তোমার মনে হচ্ছে S by Z, তোমার পুলাটা সাবজেক্ট, ওকে? S by Z. Last, okay. No, S by Z is the subject. Because subject usually stays at the beginning of the sentence and it ends with a full stop. So it's not a question. It's a statement, it's a sentence. Normal sentence. So S by Z is the subject. Then what is groiled? Verb. Why did you say it's verb? There must be a reason. Huh? Last ED আছে, right? So you guessed, হতে পারে এটা verb. কারণ ED আমরা সাধারণত ইংলিশে past tense করার জন্য ভার্বের পেছনে লাগিয়ে দিই, রাইট? তারপর লাস্টে কি হতে পারে? অবজেক্ট। অবজেক্ট সাধারণত নাউন বা প্রোনাউন হয়, আমরা জানি। আর নাউন বা প্রোনাউনের আগে কি এসে বসে? আর্টিকেল বসে, প্রিপোজিশন বসে। সো ইট ইজ আইদার অ্যান আর্টিকেল অর আ প্রিপোজিশন। দ্য এট ওয়ান ইজ, ঠিক আছে? আইদার ইটস আ প্রিপোজিশন অর অ্যান আর্টিকেল। এবার দেখো, তোমরা সাবজেক্ট, ভার্ব, অবজেক্ট সবকিছু বলে দেবে। হাউ ডু ইউ নো দ্যাট? বিকজ দেয়ার ইজ, তোমার ফোনোলজি ঠিক আছে, তোমার মরফোলজি ঠিক আছে, তোমার ঠিক আছে বলতে the arrangement of the words makes sense hypothetically, কিন্তু সেমান্টিক্স এর গন্ডগোল হচ্ছে। এটা মানেটা কি? what does it mean? Well, it can mean in a different way that S by Z is a person, a human being or a person anyway. Groiled মানে rolled down যদি হয়, মূল মানে হচ্ছে হিল, ডাউন। যদি এটাকে আমি প্রিপোজিশনই করি আর এটাকে আর্টিকেল, তাহলে কি হতে পারে? হি রোলড ডাউন দ্য হিল। হি রোলড ডাউন দ্য হিল। তাহলে তো অ্যাবসলিউট সেন্স হচ্ছে। যদি আমি এখানে এটা লিখে দিই, it makes sense, right? He rolled down the hill. But semantics তখনই হবে যখন এই সেন্সটা আমরা দিতে পারবো। তার মানে যদি সেন্টেন্সটা ফোনোলজিক্যালি ঠিক আছে, সব ইংলিশের সাউন্ড ব্যবহার করছো, সব ইংলিশের ওয়ার্ড ব্যবহার করছো, সিনট্যাক্সও ঠিক আছে, গ্রামারও ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু যদি মিনিং না দিতে পারে সেন্টেন্সটা, তাহলে ওটা সেন্টেন্স নয়, ইট উইল নট ওয়ার্ক। And that same thing happens when you write in your horrible handwriting. এক্সামিনাররা বুঝতে পারে না লিখনা কে চাচ্ছে, কি লিখতে চাইছে। তবে হ্যাঁ, এত বছরের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হওয়ার পরে মানে মাথায় যদি একটা এরকম থাকে, তার মানে বুঝে ওটা কি, যদি এটা গোল করা থাকে সেটা আমি বুঝে যাই এটা গোল। বাট তোমাদের যদি অন্য কারোর খাতা দেখতে দেওয়া হয়, many of you will not understand that it is difficult because you are not used to checking answers. We are. Now we know. প্রথম আমাদের এটাই মনে হচ্ছে S by Z ড্রয়ের ডেট করা এরকম লেখা থাকে। আমরা নিজেরা বুঝতাম ও আচ্ছা, he rolled down the hill, ঠিক আছে। so that is the study of meaning, যে কোনো একটা কনটেক্সটে কোনো একটা ওয়ার্ডের কি মানে হতে পারে। And finally, pragmatics. We started with the, what does it mean? This is a sound, right? This is a recognized sound. What does it mean? Context e bolo, ami table knock korchi. Yes, the teacher wants your attention because you are making noise and the teacher is like doing this. But if I do the same thing on the door, I want your attention, but importantly I want you to open the door. For example, another, I can give you, or I can try to give you another example. Say for example, you are participating in sports and you are like, you are all on the starting line and the whistle goes. What do? Start running, right? Imagine you are doing the same thing in the traffic. Traffic e whistle ke thik ulto karna jana, gadi whistle. তার মানে কনটেক্সট ওয়াইজ তোমাকে বুঝতে হবে যে কি বলতে চাইছে। দ্যাট ইজ দ্য প্র্যাগম্যাটিক্স অফ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ। Another example, for example, Shubham is in love with a girl. Imagine, or maybe so he gets very romantic with the girl and the girl says you are a bad boy. Shubham is blushing. He knows what a bad boy means. Maybe Shubham is trying to kiss the girl and the girl is saying you are a bad boy. But does the girl really mean that he is a bad boy? Very love, of course. Does it mean that you are a bad boy? Is she saying that you are a badmash ladka? Yes? No? Never been in this situation? But क्या कर रहे हो यार जिंदगी को लेकर? You girls tell me something. What do you mean when the person you love, say your boyfriend, is trying to get a little too close to you? You are saying that badmashi mat karo, but in a way that makes him more badmash, right? So that is pragmatics. You don't mean to say that he is a bad person, but imagine the same thing is done to you in a metro or a bus. An uncle is trying to get close to you. You say, badmash, I mean bad man. What? Right. Like, oh, no, but the situation is like this, that it depends. Even though Shubham, where to the situation is happening in both sides. Shubham bhaglo shotti meta ko kharab korche. O mone dukhe bande chole jabe. Eta ki holo bhai? So that is, if you do not know this, then you do not know language. That is the pragmatic practical aspect of language that depends upon context to context. কোন কনটেক্সটে কি বলছো, যেমন maybe today's last example, you have all seen that movie called PK, Amir Khan, PK. So when PK is in the locker, he says acha in various ways. For example, he says that अगर किसी के बात पर विश्वास ना हो लेकिन वो झूठ पे झूठ बोला जा रहा है और तुमको उसको समझाना है कि तुम उससे झूठ को पकड़ चुके हो, तो कैसे अच्छा बोलोगे, अच्छा। और सच में कोई बात समझ, अच्छा मतलब कोई अचानक से कुछ हुआ, कुछ सरप्राइजिंग हुआ, अच्छा। So one word in different contexts can mean very different things, but if you mix the contexts, for example, I am telling you I will not let you submit your internals if you do not come to the class, and Mugre say acha. She thinks that I am bluffing, she is not believing it. But at the time of the submission of the internal, I said, she said like acha, and I will not take your internal. So you cannot mix. You can say acha, okay, I will come to the class, right? You accept it. So pragmatics is the most interesting part of this whole language thing. In different contexts, different things mean very different meanings. And all of these things are running at the same time in our mind when we are using language. সব কটা জিনিস একসাথে কাজ করছে, ফোনোলজি, মরফোলজি, সিনট্যাক্স, সেমান্টিক্স, প্র্যাগম্যাটিক্স। কোথায় কি বলতে হবে, প্র্যাগম্যাটিক্স মানেটা কি, ধরো একটা শব্দ আমি বলছি, this is a, you may laugh, and that is the purpose of the sound maybe, চন্দ্রন্ড রদ্দ, this is a sound, this is a word, চন্দ্রন্ড রদ্দ. What does it mean? Don't know what it means. So the semantics will be gone, but you will still try to pronounce it, you will still try to write it, and maybe put it in a particular position in the sentence. But without the semantics, you will not be pragmatic. ওটার কোনো মানে থাকে না। চন্দ্রন্ড রত্নটা is just a magical word. It's like hocus-pocus. It doesn't mean anything. Okay. So phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics, they are all working together right now in your mind. সঙ্গীতা ভাবছে আরো কতক্ষণ স্যার ক্লাস নিয়ে বোর হচ্ছি, এই ক্লাসটা করতে হবে, going on in all of your minds. So the thing is that these are the basic components of language, and যেটুকু এখানে লেখা রয়েছে সেটুকুই যদি তুমি কোশ্চেন পেপারে আনসার স্ক্রিপ্টে লিখে দাও, you are getting 15 out of 20 মিনিমাম। আর যদি এক্সাম্পলস দিতে পারো ঠিক আছে, এই জিনিসটা ক্লিয়ার, বেসিক কম্পোনেন্টস অফ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, রাইট? ওকে, এনি কোয়েশ্চেনস, এনি ডাউটস? বলো, কিছু ডাউট? No, the question will be this way. What are the basic components of language? Give examples. So you will write following are the basic components of language. Number 1, phonology. Phonology is the study of speech sounds of a language. For example, there are 44 sounds in English, 20 vowels, 24 consonants. Number 2, morphology is the study of how words are used or created in a language. For example, give an example, there is that name. Syntax, study of the sentences, how sentences are formed in a language. For example, Ram is a good boy. Semantics, what is the meaning of this line? That Ram is considered to be good, as in like good behavior. But in pragmatics, the real life situation in which the language is used, this particular sentence, Ram is a good boy, is a very funny line because it has been used from since the day you started your school. All sentences, every teacher was using this particular sentence, Ram is a good boy. Whether Ram is a good boy or not, that is not the question. The question is that Ram, the sentence, the example Ram is used. But is the same example used in the madrasa also? Because Ram has a very different connotation. That is pragmatics. You can understand that, you understand language. Let's say suppose you are going to teach in a madrasa, will you use the same sentence? Ram is a good boy. People might get a little uncomfortable if not angry. Because Ram has some religious connotation. So use a different chance. That would make a difference. So you write that in pragmatics. That pragmatics is the study of the language in practical use. For example, if we write Ram is a good boy, then Ram has religious connotations. But if we write Shyam is a good boy, then there are no religious connotations. So तावा का problem है. Ram और Shyam का problem है. की problem है? Shyam तो किसी का भी नाम है. Shyam is not as religiously charged as Ram is. ठीक है, but there is a problem. Different kind of problem. Feminist would say, সবসময় ছেলেরাই ভালো example কেন দেওয়া? Why not female? Sita is a good girl. খুব কম জায়গায় দেখা যায়। তো এটাও পলিটিক্স, language is very political and pragmatics এ আমাদের এই পলিটিক্সটাকে না ব্যবহার করতে হবে আর না এটা থেকে দূরে থাকতে হবে। For example, the way in which teachers teach in a class is very diplomatic. It's never political. Teachers would never say that this is bad and this is good. Teachers would say this may be bad, this may be good. I think this is bad, I think this is good. They would never say this is bad. I say so. Right? Okay. So, do you have any questions? Anything? Okay, fine. So let us stop here today. Next day, in the next class, I will